Oh, okay. Let's begin. Hi, guys. If you're tuning in already, we are going to be doing the box openings for the Commander 20 decks. So without further ado, I suppose we'll just jump into it. So I'm Griffin, and this is...
I'm Caleb.
This is
we
Caleb.
are from the Command Valley.
Yep, so we're with Command Valley. We're a podcast on YouTube that does EDH content. If you want, check us out on YouTube. We're at Command Valley Podcast. Is it podcast or just Command Valley?
Just Command Valley.
Is it just Command Valley?
Go to YouTube, type in the search bar, Command Valley. Should be able to pull us right up. You'll be able to see our beautiful logo once we uncover.
Yeah, we'll show you the logo here
on the mat, so you can recognize us that way. Start liking our videos. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and we will provide you with the best EDH content out there.
The very best.
That's our goal.
Yeah, we're setting high expectations for ourselves. So first off, we just wanted to thank Game Grid for being so nice and letting us do this for you guys.
Game Grid is awesome.
Game Grid is great. They support our podcast, so we super appreciate that.
Let's jump in.
Okay.
Where do you want to start?
So we'll just wait for just a second, and okay, we're good. Sorry, guys. This is the first time
we've done anything live.
Anything live. So if you can't tell, I'm shaking in my boots. All right, so let's go ahead and open up the first. I don't know. I'm probably more. Yeah.
Otrimi.
Okay, let's do Otrimi because that's the deck that Caleb will be playing later. We'll just put these onto the side. Okay, so the way that this format is going to work is that we're just going to open the box and we're going to just pull cards out, put them to the side. We're not going to spend a lot of time on each of the cards, but there are some cards that we're going to want to talk about a little bit more. If you want an in-depth look at some of the new cards, especially the new commanders in these decks, go onto our YouTube channel. We have some videos that go into depth about it. So go ahead, since this is the deck you're going to be playing.
All right, let's open it up. Peter, do you care how I open this up? Just rip it open. Let's maybe keep it on screen. Got a hairy arm that could give Rudy a run for his money.
That was mine.
It's
pretty good.
I'm just going to rip this, Peter. Hopefully you're okay with that. That's what I do with mine. Super annoying. All right. Of course, you've got your oversized commander card. Remember back in the day when they used to put 3 of these things
Let's look at it.
in the decks.
Yeah, I remember when I was actually back a long time ago. You could actually sell these for something. Like people actually wanted these, and then all of a sudden they just dropped. I would be surprised if this was worth anything. But look at that curl already.
This is new. I was actually thinking about this on the way over, and I was going to say that I wish they put something like this in them. I honestly did not know that it even came with this, so that's great, especially for newer players.
Would you show that to the camera?
Oh yeah. So it's just a little life counter. You can start up here at 40. I don't think you can go past 40 though. So
no.
But anyway, that's pretty neat. I think they had those in the Brawl decks as well.
Yeah, it's great until you have a dismal backwater and then you're 41.
Yep. All right, so here is the deck. Let's pull that little tab there. We're gonna make a mess. All right.
So, Caleb, before we start opening it, tell me why you love Otrimi so much.
He's the Ever-Playful. I mean, look at how fun he looks. I don't know. Obviously these colors are great. Wow, this looks so good in person. This is the first time I'm seeing this in
these
person.
foils look really good.
I really like the whole concept of mutate. Just kind of building my own monsters however I want to. Just sounded really fun. So yeah, check that out. So you do get 4 foils with each deck. You've got the main face commander, an alternate commander. In this case, it's Zaxara, and then you've got your 2.
That foiling is so pretty on Zaxara.
Yeah, these actually look really, really good. And
and
then you've got your partners that are also foil. So those are great. Those look really sweet.
Those are really cool. Just so you know, guys, there is an upgrade guide that Caleb did for Otrimi that is up on our YouTube channel. So if you're getting the Otrimi deck and you're looking for some quick upgrades for it, go check out our YouTube channel. We have a really good upgrade guide for it.
Yeah, especially if you get this deck and you're wanting to build or play with both Otrimi and Zaxara. They've already put cards in here that kind of go along with Zaxara's strategy as well. So it's really easy to just, and I'll talk about it in that video. You can go check it out, but you can just pull out all the Zaxara stuff And I talked about everything that I would throw in for Otrimi, and then you can go make your own Hydra deck, which I think Griffin's going to do.
Yeah.
So you can eventually see his Hydra deck that I'm sure we'll talk about on the channel.
So I'll show
as
Zaxara
well.
again. Zaxara is going to be the deck tech on Monday that I will be doing. I actually built this deck because I thought it was going to be so much fun, and I played it last night when we were playing Commander together, and it was pretty bomb. So I'm really excited to show this to you guys.
Nice.
All right, so let's go
I'm
ahead.
really impressed with these, actually.
Yeah, the foils look really, really good. I hope they don't curl
Yeah.
pretty quickly.
All right, and then right after your commanders, they will all have tokens in them. In this deck, they've just got double-sided Hydras and 3/3 Beasts. That
Sweet.
Beast token looks awesome.
I'm so happy that they include the tokens in the decks. That
Yeah.
makes me happy. I almost never use tokens, so that is my fault.
All right, and then we're going to head into some of the non-basic lands, it looks like.
So I just put them
Scout,
down.
Command
Yeah.
Tower, yeah, okay. Like we said, this is our very first time. You've, of course, got your Command Tower. Hopefully a decent amount. Honestly, I'm not even sure, but hopefully a decent amount of dual lands in here.
Yeah.
There's a...
Got the Opulent Palace.
the
Every
Opulent
single
Palace.
deck has one of the tri-lands since they're all three colors, which is pretty cool.
Rogue's Passage seems like it would be a really good include with Otrimi.
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
Because I plan on winning with some commander damage, or at least knocking people out with commander damage and Otrimi.
Yep, if you don't know what this does, you can tap it for 4, or tap 4 and this, and you can make sure that creature is unblockable.
Sweet. I think there are 38 lands.
Yeah, the land base, the mana base in this deck is actually, it's better than it was last year, which makes me really happy. I mean, there are a lot of tap lands and things, but that's kind of unavoidable with the pre-cons. But honestly, they have, let's see, where is it?
I'm sad not to see at least one shock land in these. You know?
Yeah, I wish there would.
I really wish that we would get at least a shock land in
I
these.
mean, you got a command tower, and there's got the aqueducts and the rot farms.
But it's great to play right out of the box. I don't think you'll have any complaints, especially if this is the very first deck that you're picking up. Even if you're a seasoned player.
Yeah,
Like,
I never really complain about the mana base. Like, it's not great, especially when you're playing against people who have the shock lands and stuff. But if you're just playing these out of the box, like, it doesn't feel that
it's
bad.
totally fine. All right, let's get into some of the creatures here. We've got Souvenir Snatcher. Do we want to hold it up, or do we just want to...
So I think what we're going to do, guys, is a lot of the, again, because we don't want to spend 10 hours being here going over every single card, we're going to spotlight some of the cards. But if you want to check out the other cards, I would just recommend going on to MTG Coldfish and looking at all the deck lists.
Yeah, and also another thing about Mutate, which you're going to find throughout this deck,
Oh, I
is
can put this back up.
it's a pretty complicated and kind of confusing ability. So I don't think I really talked about it a whole lot in my video. We went over some of the rulings, but if you're confused on anything about Mutate, feel free to go to that video and ask us questions on it. Just comment, and we can get back to you as soon as we can. Or I'm sure there are tons of videos out there already. So
Yeah, Mutate is a very confusing mechanic. I'm not even going to try to go into it. There's so many rules questions that I don't know because I'm not a judge.
we don't want to talk about it today. Title Barracuda's...
Oh, this is an amazing card. Okay, so if you don't know what Title Barracuda does, and this is one of those cards that's going to fit really well into your other commander decks. It is a 3/4 fish. It says any player may cast spells as though they had flash, and your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. So it's a Vidalcan Ori for everybody, but they can't cast spells during your turn.
So your stuff's not going to get countered. Your creatures that you're playing aren't going to get killed immediately. This makes play a lot easier for everyone, but even more easy for you.
Yeah, we kind of talked about this in our set review, but a lot of these cards seem like they're trying to politic on a card. So this is a kind of deal that we would make already. Like, hey, I'll give everything flash if you don't use, if you don't use it on my turn. This is kind of that card on its own. So super good card, very interesting.
This is one of the cards that I suggested we take out, so we can just skip right past it to the real gold in this deck.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so yeah, I wanted to spend some time on this because this cycle is one of the most exciting, probably the most exciting from this commander product. It's the if you control your commander, you can pay or cast this card without paying its mana cost. So this one is Deadly Rollick, and it says if you control a commander, not just yours, just any, you may cast a spell without paying its mana cost. Exile target creature. This is the black one, and there's one in each of the decks. Even though this is just exile target creature, that effect by not paying the mana cost is really, really good.
Yeah, would you play
Anytime.
Path to Exile for 1 mana? For
Absolutely.
1 white mana?
Yeah.
They get a little bit of an upside. They get to go, search for a land, but
This is just
for free if you control Otrimi.
That's so good.
Pretty sweet.
Majority of the time in your commander decks, you want your commander out, so these cards are super good. And if you've already looked at the finances, these things are projected to be probably the most pricey cards.
Yeah, well, everyone please just open as many collector boosters as you possibly can and put more of these into the market, please, for me, because I want to put that in every black deck that I have.
They're all so good.
Yeah.
We'll talk
they're
about
there.
it more with the next deck.
We got Dredge the Mire. We might want to pick up the pace here or pick out certain cards. This card is insane.
Manascape Refractor enters tapped. It has all activated abilities of all lands on the battlefield, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to pay the activation costs of Manascape Refractor's abilities. So if you have this out and your opponent has a Gaia's Cradle, you also have a Gaia's Cradle.
So good. When I first saw that, I expected it to be in every single deck. I just thought it was going to be one of those cards that they put in all the decks, but this is the only deck that you can get it in. So the only place that you can get it is by buying Otrimi or opening it in a collector's booster. It's
pretty crazy.
That card's going to be really good, I feel like. We got some more Mutate. We've got a lot of X spells, A lot of X spells in this deck to go along with Zaxara's ability, which we didn't really talk about, but you can check out Griffin's video.
Yeah, I'll go into detail with it. The art on all these cards is actually really, really pretty. Like, ooh, I didn't expect this one to be so pretty. It's really nice. The colors in that.
Here's something really cool. I like that they put a Planeswalker in every single deck. Even though it's probably not the best Planeswalker to go in this deck, that's really cool that you can be a brand new player, open your very first commander deck, and boom, you've already got a Planeswalker.
I love this Planeswalker.
Yeah.
This is Steward of their Elements. This goes really good in the Zaxara deck, and you will find out why.
Not that anybody cares, but I had Howard Lyon do an altar for me of that and turned her
nice.
into Rey from Star Wars for
That's
me.
awesome.
I thought it was pretty cool. Here's another mythic that comes in the
flex.
deck. I know.
Vorapede.
Vorapede is awesome.
It's a 5 mana Vigilance Trample with Undying. It's a 5/4.
The reason why I wanted to pull out Vorapede is because if you mutate onto Vorapede, because it has Undying, so say we've got Otrimi and we mutate it onto Vorapede just like this. If Otrimi gets killed, because it has Undying, you can choose to send it to the graveyard, and correct me if I'm wrong, they would both come back with the +1/+1 counters just separate, because Vorapede gave the entire creature Undying.
Yeah, I'm not completely sure on the rules.
I'm
but
100% sure that's how it works. I looked it up.
Okay,
and that's
cool.
that's probably why they included Vorapede.
That's
And
really cool.
I think that was a really fun card to throw in there because of
Absolutely.
the mutate. Okay, anything else we want to talk about? We've got a decent board wipe here in the deck.
Tempest. So yeah, each of the decks, if you want to look at the spread of each of the decks, you can go to Command Zone. Does a pretty good job of dividing all of them into categories of like the ramp and the board wipes and stuff. But usually there's about 3.
I don't think we really talked about that very much in our videos, but they did do a good job of balancing these out, I
Yep.
feel like. Here's your favorite green card.
My favorite green card.
It literally
Beast
is his
Whisperer.
favorite green card.
If you were playing green, you need one of these. Good reprint.
Oh,
Love
we
it.
missed some lands. Okay, no wonder. I felt like the lands were kind of lackluster.
I know
Okay.
that- yeah.
Okay, here we go. Jumping back to some of the lands. This is much better. Okay, that's not a shock land, but still, it's something.
better than a tap land in most cases.
Okay, here are 2 more of our dual lands. Okay, I knew we were definitely.
So
missing
yeah, this is
something.
what I wanted to talk about, is that they are starting to include lands like this that don't enter the battlefield tapped. This one has a clause, so it enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. And then this one, you can put it in untapped, but if you use it for a green or a black, it deals 1 damage to you. So these are better lands, and I like that they're including more of these. I believe in the last Commander product, they also had 2 like these as well. So I hope they keep going higher with that, maybe include some shock lands, make the mana base just a little bit better. make me happy.
Yeah, for sure. Here's a pretty decent and underappreciated utility land that you play in one of your decks.
Purphoros.
Yeah, Purphoros.
Purphoros Bronze-Blooded. If you have Purphoros Bronze-Blooded, this is an amazing card to slot in there. I'm not going to go into details about it. If you want, just check out our Purphoros deck tech.
And then we've got Rainbow Land, and the rest are basics.
Perfect.
So
Yeah, Exotic Orchard. That's an awesome include.
it is very good. So I was trying to pull all of the Hydras here to the front because if I'm playing Otrimi, and I talk about this in the video that we did that's on our channel, I'm going to be just pulling all of these Hydra cards out. A lot of them are still really good, but you'll notice that there is a really good amount. They're great with Zaxara, but some decent Hydras there.
Yeah, they kind of do this with the commander products. They throw some little goodies in there for the side commanders or the not face commander. So when you're building, trying to look for some upgrades, that's a great place to start. Is like, hey, which cards are specifically for Zaxara, or which card is specifically for Kazur or Sazur and Akima?
There are 3 cards that they are going to include in every single one of these decks. So when you pick up any of these, you can expect to find Soul Ring, as always, Arcane Signet, which is awesome. I'm so happy with that. And then Bonder's Ornament. Bonder's Ornament is not that great. If you're playing against people that just have these decks and you're only playing these decks, it's fine to keep it in. But once you start branching out and playing against other people, it's really not that great. This is
one of the first cards that I would take out.
Yeah, that's the first card I took out. Cool. Let's see. Anything else that you want to talk about specifically here?
Well, there's actually...
Silent Arbiter is a great reprint.
If you can't see it, it says no more than one creature can attack each combat and no more than one creature can block each combat. And that's an amazing reprint, and I do want this in more decks, so I'm glad that there's more out there. Would you go to Propaganda? I actually did not know that there was a Propaganda in this deck until just now.
I totally forgot about that.
This is a really good reprint, and I'm very happy to see something like this in the deck, because this was getting up there in price.
Those get up there.
Yeah, I think the last time I checked, it was like $7 or $8 for each of these. So that's really good. I'm very happy about that.
Let's see. Some other notable reprints. We've got Mole Drifter, Shriek Maw,
Beast
Within, Kodama's Reach,
awesome.
Crossing Grip, Reclamation Sage. These are all
really good cards.
Commander cards.
Yeah, what I like about these cards is if you were building an Otrimi deck, there are cards that you would just put on already, and some of it is like mana ramp, and some of it's removal, and some of it is card draw. So I like that they're including these cards that we would already be putting in there and not making it seem like, oh, this whole deck is subpar. But there are actually cards that are really good.
I would also include Life Crafter's Bestiary with all of those. That's a really good card to keep drawing cards in this deck specifically, because it says that whenever you cast a creature spell, you may pay green if you do draw a card. So that includes cards like Auspicious Sterix, that when you mutate it, you're still technically casting it, so you can pay the extra green to draw a card.
Right.
So that's really nice.
It's really cool.
Compared to the Great Henge, that is just ETB, right?
Right.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Here are a bunch of the mutate cards, if you want to talk about those.
Yep. So these are just some of the cards that are mutated. We'll just go through them one at a time. They're very cool looking. I mean, if you're a fan of like monsters and big scary things, this set and this commander deck specifically is full of them. I mean, here you've got Leviathan for your Leviathan deck.
You'll notice that I think all of these have the main set symbol, the standard set symbol.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
Ikoria.
they do.
Yeah,
I did not even know that.
So these are straight out of Ikoria.
That's actually very unique. Here, I'll do it. So on Life Crisis Bestiary, you have the commander insignia on the card, but if you look at Pouncing Shore Shark, which is actually in Ikoria, you have the Ikoria signia, which is, that's really cool.
So there are quite a few cards. Oh, I missed some of our mutate cards there.
No worries. Real quick, while you're looking through those, that was something in our Hopes and Dreams for Commander 20 that I was talking about, that something really cool and something really unique about this Commander product is that most of the decks, I think all of them, have cards inside the standard set that you can take from the standard set and put into your commander decks. I think that is a really good decision on Wizards' part to do something like that, because it makes you really excited to get the standard set, even if you're just a commander player. So, big props to Wizards.
These are actually 3 incredibly good mutate cards that come in the deck.
Again, with that art, beautiful.
Yeah, that's one of the cards that you definitely want to be getting out turn 3, because once you mutate Otrimi onto it, it'll give you a 3/3 beast because of Trumpeting Gnar, and then you can just swing with it with Otrimi if you put Otrimi on top on the turn that you mutate Otrimi onto it. So
Right.
pretty fun, silly, Timmy-like strategies that you can do with mutate. There's another one. They put in a decent amount of mutate. I think I added 2
Cool.
more. I think I took out 2 and then added 4
Gotcha.
in my build. You want to talk about the Impetus cards?
Yeah, so the Impetus cards, these are really, they're really unique, and let me say why. So the Impetus cards, they're all enchantments that give another creature, it's goaded and it gives it another effect. So the green one gives it +3/+3 and must be blocked if able. The black one gives it +2/+2 goaded, and when it attacks, its controller loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. So the person who controls the enchantment, or owns the enchantment, I'm sorry. And then you've got Psychic Impetus, which gives it +2/+2, and whenever it attacks, you scry 2. So I see why they put these in these decks, that, it's a little bit of flavor during a game where you enchant somebody else's creatures so they can't attack you, so you've got a little bit of politicking going on, you've got a little bit more involved gameplay. I don't use enchantments that generally attach to other people's creatures in my decks. They're pretty subpar. So when I have been upgrading these decks, I take these out. But I'm not saying that these are bad for your the game. These are just personally, I don't use these in my decks, and in our play group we don't see these very much. But these are very fun to use if you do have this type of gameplay in your play group. So yeah, I definitely think these are cool cards. I don't use them, but if you want to keep them in, yeah, definitely keep them in.
I think that you'll be surprised a lot of times with those. They're not ever going to be the optimal thing to play, but they can get you out of some sticky situations.
Right.
So,
Yeah, definitely.
one thing that I really like about these decks is that they have put in some decent, especially in this one. I love Cold-Eyed Selkie with this deck. They've put in some decent card draw. We already showed off a couple of cards, but we've got the Cold-Eyed Selkie, Mind Spring. Masked Admirers will draw you a card, but I'd switch that out for something better. And we also showed off some of the ramp already, but they also put in a lot of decent to good ramp. So that's really impressive. I'm really glad that they are leaning into including more of these cards.
Check out that art though.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if
that's
you
a
guys see it on
Rebecca
stream.
Way art for sure.
Ooh, beautiful.
Yep. They also we showed the new board wipe, but here are 2 more options that you have for board wipes. You've got Gaze of Granite and Finality, and also Find, which will return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. And then Finality just says you may put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature you control, then all creatures get -4/-4 until end of turn. These aren't terrible. That's an overcosted languish, in my opinion, and I just don't really like split cards in general. But this is still awesome that they've included it in here, and people are going to use that, and they're going to be happy to have those cards.
Definitely.
And just a couple more cards. They've also put in some really good targeted removal. So all in all, I'm really impressed with these decks.
Cool. Yeah, this Otrimi is probably one of my favorites to come out. I'm very excited for this.
And Villainous Wealth is also an incredibly fun card. So.
I love casting Villainous Wealth. Okay, story time with Villainous Wealth. So, I was playing against Landon that you see on the podcast sometimes. Well, no, all the time because he's in the podcast. But he was playing a Yarrick deck, and I was playing my new Zexara deck. Anyway, so I used a mass manipulation to steal his creatures, and one of those creatures was Yarrick. So I casted Villainous Wealth for 8, targeting him, and I got all the double ETBs because I had stolen his Yarick, and that is not that is not something you got to do every day in Commander, and that's the reason I love Commander.
Dirty. That is dirty. One last thing that I wanted to talk about really quick. Each deck will come with these little pamphlets that tell you about the commanders. I think this is just kind of backstory on the commanders. So, and then I actually haven't looked at these yet. They used to come with lists. I thought that this would include the entire list, but this will tell you about commander, how to play it, a little bit about the deck. So expect to find that in each one, as well as this that we kind of skipped over, the deck box.
That's better than it. Yeah,
Way
it's gotten
better than it used to be. Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, so that's going to be Otrimi. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a second. We'll go over the rest of the decks.
Thanks, guys.